Alright, so greetings from Pennsylvania once again. We're out here in western PA, Fayette County currently, near the town of Connellsville. And we're filming Braddock's Road, Braddock's Expedition. And in part one, we got, like I said, up here to Connellsville. We did Camp 7 to Camp 13. We just got to the point where they crossed the Youghiogheny River for the second time. So in this video, we're going to continue on. And as I mentioned in the first video, I'm not going to go over all the introductory stuff. I did that in a previous video, talking about what Braddock's expedition is and what the purpose of it was, during the French and Indian War. But this is going to be a continuation. This is part 2. We're going to head on up to the first video we did Camp 7 to 13. So now we're going to head on up to Camp 14, just after they cross the river, making our way up towards Fort Duquesne, or what today is now Pittsburgh. All right, let's get on going again. All right, so time to head out of Connellsville. This is Narrows Road. Like I said, we're heading to Camp 14, also called Terrapin Creek Camp. The area is now a reservoir. The Green Lick Reservoir, I think it's called. That's where we're headed. But I gotta pay attention to my directions here. Got a lot of going around along a bunch of different roads. I think part of Narrows Road here is the original Braddock's Road. It might even be this section here. Nice country back here, but it would be nice if all the roads were labeled accurately. A little bit difficult sometimes to figure out where you are when there's no road signs. That's the way it is sometimes, though. I use my phone, check Google Maps just to double check, make sure I'm going the right way sometimes. But this road is labeled left, North Bellevue Road. That's what we want. Thank you, road sign. Alright, so we are back on Highway 119. I'm going to skip some sections. There's a section that goes to the town of Everson. You can see the name there, Everson Road. But we're going to take a little shortcut, stay on 119. It kind of roughly parallels the old Braddock Road. If you remember from video part 1, sometimes the major highways kind of parallel what Braddock's Road did. We'll turn off shortly up here, though. Probably put the light up here, actually. Okay, we are now on what's called Rice School Road. I guess pretty much east of the town of Everson. Making our way towards Camp 14, which, like I said, now is a reservoir. But we'll stop and have a look. Yeah, I don't believe that any of the roads I'm on necessarily right here are following Braddock's Road exactly. That's just the way it is. Man, you got a picture. It looked so much different back then. Big virgin, old growth forests, as far as you can see. Well, you really won't be able to see all that far because the forest was so thick. I mean, this was wilderness back then, 1755. They had to make a road through all that. The wagons and artillery and stuff. Alright, we're not too far away. Just gotta find one more road here. Gotta turn left onto Gimlet Hill Road. Gotta love these names. Gimlet Hill. I don't think this is it up here. Yeah, there's no outlet. Okay, oh, I see the reservoir over there. I was going to say we have found Gimlet Hill Road, but I could see the reservoir off to my right. I'm not sure if it showed up on the camera at all. There is indeed a large body of water over there. Alright, so we'll be there in a bit. There's a nice pull off up here. We can check it out. Actually, you might be able to see the reservoir. I don't know if it's peeking up on the camera a little bit there. Off to your right, I'm not sure. I'm trying to see on the camera there. Alright, but here is our pullover. Right, this will do. Yeah, you should be able to see the reservoir straight ahead there. Alright, so out here is the reservoir. Somewhere in this area was Camp 14. I'm not sure if they know exactly where. It could be underwater too. A beautiful spot. Of course, this reservoir, if I can say it right, would not have been here back in the day. There would just have been a little stream going through here. In fact, right here is the dam breast. So, they could come here today, Braddock and his army. It'd be look a ton different than what it does. Alright, but I think I'm going to take just a little bit of a break here. I'm going to change out the battery in my dash cam. Have a little water, a little bit of snack. And then after we do that, we'll head up to Camp 15, also known as Jacob's Cabins. And we'll talk about who Jacob is. Probably not who you think he is. Unless you paid attention to other videos, there's a fellow named Captain Jacobs. He wasn't British, though, but we'll talk about him later. Alright, we'll continue on our way onwards to Camp 15, also known as Jacob's Cabins. Yeah, Jacob's Cabins refers to Captain Jacobs, who was actually an Indian, Native American, who fought for the, who's on the side of the French, actually. And he's come up in, I think I need to turn here, left on the Pershing, yep. Yeah, he was involved in some of the massacres that occurred. I don't know if you remember him. Yeah, why is he called Captain Jacobs? Well, that's kind of a different story. Somebody where he used to live near the town of Lewistown, more in central PA. Someone thought he looked like a British settler thought he looked like a friend he knew by the name of Jacobs or something like that. I'm not sure. It was something like that. I'm not sure how he would look like that, since he was Native American, and this Jacobs, the guy that he looked like, was a German dude, so whatever. But yeah, I think he was present at the fall of Fort Granville when we did that video, Captain Jacobs. And he died at the Battle of Kittanning in 1756. We'll do that in a separate video, though. So those cabins, those were his cabins. That's where he lived for a time. The place where we're heading now. That's why they're called Jacob's Cabins. So we are now headed towards the town of Mount Pleasant here in Fayette County. I believe we're still in Fayette County. Have to double check that. But as I did in a previous video, I'll be putting maps up as we go along to let you know where I am more accurately. A lot of times when I'm driving, I'm just trying to pay attention to where I'm going, looking for the different road signs and everything. Alright, we're entering Mount Pleasant. This is Route 819, but I believe I want to go straight. Yeah. So some of the roads here in Mount Pleasant are following Braddock's Road, and some are not. It gets kind of confusing. Okay, I just saw a sign for Braddock's Road, so I believe we are following the original road here. I'm looking for Washington Street now. Take a left. Wow, what a difference, you know, a couple hundred years makes. It did not look at all like this back then. Just gotta keep my eyes open for Washington Street. Not everything's labeled around here though either. Ah, here we go. Left onto Washington. If I remember reading correctly, this was part of Braddock's Road here too. I could be wrong on that, but if I remember correctly. Alright, left on the Sand Hill Road. I do see a sign off to the left there for Braddock's Road again. Whew. Yeah, that road wasn't labeled. I missed that road. Missed a couple roads back there. Things weren't labeled so well. Alright, but we're back on track now. Following Braddock's Road as best we can. It is beautiful out here. Beautiful day to be doing this. But to come to think of it, you know, they didn't have road signs back then either in 1755. In fact, they had to, you know, they were making the road. There was no signs anywhere saying, hey, you're not, you know, so many miles to Fort Duquesne. You know, they had no idea sometimes. They were trusting the guides that they had who were from the area, but even then they made mistakes. In fact, one of the camps we're doing coming up is called Blunder Camp because the guides led them in the wrong direction to the road. They couldn't, I mean, they were kind of going in the right direction, but it was not a good place to build a road because it led them to like a steep drop off, you know, and whoops, it's called Blunder Camp. So they had to go back and reroute. So I guess I shouldn't complain too much. Alright, so we should be getting close to Jacob's Cabins. Alright, I believe we gotta turn right here. Oh yeah, see straight ahead there's a sign for Braddock's Road. I'm gonna turn right here. Ted should go where camp was. There's kind of like an industrial complex up here, currently where the Jacob's camp was. All right, yeah, we're gonna turn right into here, west. What does that say? Westick Drive. Stop for the red light. All right. Yeah, and we'll find a place to pull over up here somewhere. Westmoreland Technology Park. Looks like that's where we're headed. We'll pull off into here, I think, though. Yeah, so somewhere around here, near the Westmoreland Technology Park, was Jacob's Cabins, or the camp for Jacob's Cabins. Let's see the sign here. Yeah, Westmoreland Technology Park. It's probably more up that way somewhere, I was thinking. Yeah, so what was once, you know, a hunting residence, a living residence for a Delaware chief, that's what Captain Jacobs was, Delaware Indian chief, to a campsite for Braddock's expedition. Now it's a huge technology plant. I guess that's the way history goes. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell exactly where the camp was, but probably up on the hill behind me somewhere, near the technology plant. Yeah, so much has changed. Alright, we're going to hop back in a Jeep. We're going to head to Camp 16, which is also known as the Lick Camp, probably referring to a salt lick. that was there in the area. That was used by animals, even by people maybe. All right, we have left the Westmoreland Technology Park behind. We're now on old Route 119. Just off to our right is the new Highway 119, the main highway. So we're heading to Camp 16 now. This is now July 3rd. Getting ever closer to that important date of July 9th, which is the Battle of Monongahela. So we're not too far away. In these past couple camps, nothing interesting really happened a whole lot. I know in the first video we had some interesting things. There was scalping camp and other things like that. But these camps were peaceful, but there's some coming up where things are not so peaceful. In fact, a rather unfortunate event happens. Alright, we're going to be heading to the town of Hunker. There's a name for you. And there was another creek crossing up here. Alright, we're looking for Bridge Street. Should be off to our left. That'll take us into the town of Hunker. Is this it right here? Yep, Bridge Street. And then in the town of Hunker is where there's another creek. I'll try to pronounce it for you later. But I think they crossed the creek on July 3rd and then rested. It was kind of a shorter trek because those creek crossings are always take a long time. Yeah, Hunker Burrow. I'm just gonna look for parking in town and I'll get back with you. Alright, so here we are now in the town of Hunker, right by St. Matthew's Lutheran Church. And down the way is what's called Sewickley Creek. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. Just down the way there. And they crossed that creek on July 3rd and camped on the other side. And we're not gonna really go make it to that spot because now it's like a liquid gas place where they store liquid gas and that kind of stuff. So we're not gonna be able to park there. It's a pretty secure spot. But just across the creek from the town of Hunker is where camp number 17 was here in Hunker. Alright, we're going to head on to Camp 17 next. Gotta keep things going. Take a little bit longer than I thought it would to do all this, but we're getting there. We're going to soon, not terribly far from Pittsburgh. Alright, so we're going to make our way through the town of Hunker. We're going to cross the creek, the Sewickley Creek. Not right where Braddock's army crossed it, though. I think there's a railroad bridge that goes across that part, but we're going to cross another bridge. And we'll continue on Braddock's Road to Camp 17, also known as Hillside Camp. Yeah, it goes to Camp 20, so we're getting there. 17, 18, 19, 20. Camp 18 is the one that's got some tragic history to it. And I believe this is the creek here that we cross. It doesn't look too big, but if you're taking a whole army across it, it can be slow. I think we need to take a left here. Yep, Penns Valley Road. Okay, so I just passed that liquid gas place on my left. So somewhere along here is the original Braddock's Road again. And for a little while we will be following that, the original route. Back out in the countryside again. Yeah, somewhere up here we're going to encounter Interstate 70. Oh yeah, I see it right there. I can see the truck traffic. So this is Braddock's Road right here. This is what they used back in 1755. Of course, remember, it wasn't a paved road. This was just a dirt trail almost. Yeah, you can see Interstate 70 right in front of us. Because that cut off Braddock's Road, and just off to the left there, kind of you can see where it picks up again. So we got to kind of do a little detour here. All right, we are back on Braddock's Road. I believe this is Fox School Road, or it might be Wagner Road. I forget if it changed names at the intersection there or not. Oh, there goes a groundhog. Alright, we are now on Moores Grove Road, out in the middle of nowhere. This is still Braddock's Road, but just up ahead a ways, Braddock's Road's going to curve off. The original Braddock's Road will curve off. Actually, I think it's right here, by this ridge right here. Somewhere around this area, it curves off. Maybe it was prior to that. Anyway, somewhere around here. I'll find a place to pull over soon. Beautiful down here, though. Guess he mentioned that Camp 17 is called Hillside Camp, because the road kind of went up a hillside again. You know, I think it was up that ridge where we made that turn. I believe that's where it was. So I guess we'll just skip stopping. But it was up that way. But as always, I'll throw a map up with a little bit more slightly accurate location of where we're at. Alright, but I'm going to take a moment to stop in this beautiful spot. I believe Hillside Camp was up there somewhere, and Braddock's Road going up there, headed towards Camp 18, also known as Monongahela Camp, and I'll explain why in a moment. I should mention too that it is now July 6th on our journey. They spent 2 days at Hillside Camp. They took another day of rest, July 4th and then July the 5th. But somewhere on July 6th, as they were making their way towards Camp 18, about 11 o'clock in the morning, there was another attack. Another group of Indians attacked some of the individuals. A couple people were killed and being scalped until they were chased off by some other of the British soldiers. But unfortunately, about the same time, some of the Indians that were allied with the British were returning at the same time, and they were confused with the enemy Indians, and they were fired upon. Even though they put their guns down and kind of held their hands up in the air, which is kind of a signal that, hey, we're friendly. Unfortunately, one of them in particular was killed. He was the son of the one chief. His name was Monongahela. I'll put the name there. I'm probably saying it wrong, but unfortunately he was killed. To say the least, that did not help the relations with the Indians and Braddock's folks, the British, the chief's own son being killed. And then he was buried at Camp 18, which is why it's called Camp Monongahela. So that's the story behind that camp name, and that's where we're headed now. Which is a little bit of tragedy. Who knows, somewhere up in the hills behind us that happened. Alright, we'll continue on our way. We're now headed to the little town of Madison. If we can find it, there's a church that has some evidence of Braddock's Road. We'll see if we can get to that spot. Because where we are right now is we're not actually following Braddock's Road anymore. We're kind of paralleling it once again. Alright, so we're entering the town of Madison. looking for a church. Hilltop United Methodist Church. So it should be on a hilltop. Oh, you know what? I think I see it straight ahead there. I don't know if it's showing up on camera there. There's a church way up on the hill up there. That's got to be it. Okay, so here we are at Hilltop United Methodist Church. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure where this remnant of the road is. Maybe here? You know, I think this is it right here. Okay. I think it goes straight off that way. It's all kind of overgrown, but you can kind of make out a road going up that way. That's Braddock's Road. Should we walk on it just a little bit? There we go. Alright. Kind of cool. So leaving Hilltop United Methodist Church, take a left here. And at some point down the way here, we will rejoin Braddock's Road and be driving along it again. Right, farewell to Madison. Alright, we're turning right onto Buffalo Hill Road. And this is where we if I could talk, we rejoin Braddock's Road here. So we just saw at the church, would eventually meet up with this right here. So we're back on Braddock's Road, following the original length. Okay, so we crossed another road, I believe it's called Wendell Road. And now we're on a road called General Braddock Road. So this once again is Braddock's Road. And we will be on this road for a while, I believe. There's a bit of a controversy, I guess. Somewhere up this road is where some people think that Camp 18 was located, and there's even a little plaque for it at someone's house. Now on Google Maps it's referred to as Camp Braddock or Braddock's Camp. But according to the one book I have, which I'll show you in a moment, or a little bit later, he thinks it's elsewhere, according to his research. So I'm going to stick with the book. Okay, I believe that marker is right up here. Let's quick check it out. Yeah, so here's what the marker reads. Braddock's Military Road, 1755, Monongahela Camp. This tablet marks the site of General Edward Braddock's 18th encampment, called Monongahela Camp, for an unhappy incident on the march. Monongahela. Oh, maybe Monongahela was the father. Monongahela's son was shot by accident by Braddock's own men. General Braddock, as soon as the army camped, sent for the Indians, condoled with them, made them presents, and buried the warrior's son with military honors. Here Braddock's army camped July 6, 1755. The next camp was at Circleville. I think I'm holding the camera crooked there. So that was where some people think that Camp Monongahela was. So I guess maybe Monongahela was the father? Oh, I thought it was the son. But anyway, still a tragic event regardless. But other scholars believe he was buried up here in the next town we're headed into, the town of Circleville. That's where the camp was. At least that's the book that I've been reading. That's where he says. So I'm going to stick with that. This guy did his research. So, and I've discovered that problem with other history stuff. Sometimes, yeah, it's just the way it is. People disagree. All right, so we will now be heading into Circleville. So we're heading into Circleville, and I'm looking for what's called Fairview Drive. It's one of the few sections of Braddock's Road in this area, the area of Circleville that's still there in its original was one of the original sections yet. Most of the time in these towns, it just gets, you know, development destroys any remnants of it. And then Camp 18 is going to be where, roughly where St. Agnes Church is. So we just got to find Fairview. All right, here is Fairview. Fairview Drive. So this is original. This is part of Braddock's Road here. Because once again, obviously, it did not look like this back then, but... Okay, I remember this section in the book. The book had a picture looking down this way with like a bunch of trees, an avenue of trees up here. Yeah, right here's probably one of the original cuts that they made through here. Cool. Alright, so now we're on the Clay Pike now. So the next stop is the St. Agnes Church, where some folks believe that Camp 18 was located. We got some traffic up ahead here. Up here on the hill is St. Agnes Church. So, like I said, other folks believe that up here somewhere in this area, maybe off back that way a little bit, is where Camp 18 was, where they buried the chief's son with full military honors. I just thought I'd quick show you the book. This is the book I'm using, Braddock's Road by Norman Baker. Very detailed book. Alright, so next stop is Camp 19. That's Blunder Camp, where they kind of goofed up. Kind of started building the road the wrong way. It's kind of a shame because they spent a lot of time building the road up there only to realize that, oh, we can't really continue the road because the terrain is too difficult. And it was the wrong way, so they had to come all the way back and then restart. But they did camp up there at Blunder Camp, and then next morning they restarted. So that's where we're gonna head next, is to where Blunder Camp is located. So it is now July 7th on our expedition, of Braddock's expedition. Of course, July 9th is the fateful day of the battle. So we're getting close to that date. Just two more camps. We have Blunder Camp, and then that's 19, and then Camp 20. Then we make our way to the town of Braddock, where the battle actually happened, and what today is known as Braddock. Alright, so this section of the road we're following now is actually part of the blunder that they messed up. We're officially going the wrong way. No, we don't want to turn right here. Whoops, mistake. So we are now on the Brownstown Road, if you're familiar with the area. Looking for something called Northeast Drive. On our right, that'll take us to Blunder Camp. Following the good old school bus. Alright, we found Northeast Drive. And here we are on Braddock's Road. And this is a dead-end road, just like it was back in 1755. It's kind of interesting. That's one thing that didn't change. So we'll just follow this to the end. And that's as far as they made it. And then they camped because they realized, you know, word got back that, oops, went the wrong way. You know, they built this whole section of the road. You know, it took them all day to do it, and then it was the wrong way. So even up ahead, you can kind of see how it does drop off pretty steeply. That's when they realized that they made a blunder. Yep. Yep, right here it ends. Alright, so we just came down that road, Northeast Drive, Braddock's Road, and then, yeah, realized going further that way was too steep, kind of goes down to the valley, and yeah, they messed up. So somewhere in this area was where they camped then, not sure where, maybe up on the, further up in the hill amongst all those houses, but this is Blunder Camp. So now we're going to head back the way we came, back to the correct path that they took once they just backtracked their way and they got on the right trail, continued making the road. All route to Camp 20, the last camp. So as we start making our way to Camp 20, it'll be July 8th, one day before the battle. I think that's called Sugar Creek Camp. So we'll start heading that way. We'll say farewell to Blunder Camp. You have to picture it though, it would be rather depressing, especially if you were the guys that was building this road through all that wilderness, and then boom, it was all for nothing, this section. But that's life sometimes. Alright, let's keep on going. Alright, we are making our way back down from Blunder Camp, retracing our steps back down into Circleville, not too far from the St. Agnes Church. We're going to turn right onto McKee's Road, and that's where Braddock's Road will pick up again, the correct route. And we'll be making our way to the town of White Oak, just before the first crossing of the Monongahela River. They had to cross it twice. I think they did that both on the 9th day. Yeah, so this is, July 8th on our expedition. One day before disaster. Alright, so we've made it to McKee's Road. I think this was an old Indian path too. I think it's often referred to as the Glades Path. So they're probably able to move a bit quicker through here because there was already kind of a path. But we're going to eventually be making our way to Route 30 to the town of White Oak, to where Camp 8 was, somewhere in the middle of town there. Alright, so we are now on Route 30 heading west. We're no longer on Braddock's Road, or paralleling it. Off to our left down in the valley is where the original road would go, but we can't go that way. We're going to continue on. We're going to parallel it along Route 30 to the town of White Oak, to Camp 8. I mean Camp 20, sorry. It's a long day. I guess it's July 8th on our expedition, that's what I'm thinking. That's where the 8's coming from. Whoa, somebody didn't make it. Alright, so I believe we are in the town of White Oak now. Oh, there's South 148 already. Yeah, we just passed Sugar Camp, probably. There's really no place to park along Main Street here. We need to take 148, though. Yeah, 5th Avenue. Nothing all that exciting happened at Sugar Camp. It was just the day before they headed out. The last day, July 9th, the fateful day. Alright, so we are leaving Sugar Camp, the town of White Oak. And I'll put a map up again showing you roughly where the fort was. I didn't realize I had passed it already. But yeah, now we're heading down this way. It's day 9, the day of the battle. So there are 2 crossings of the Monongahela River they made that day. We're coming up on the first one. Just up a ways here, there should be a bridge for our first crossing, and roughly where they made their first crossing. Yeah, 2 rivers in one day is quite a bit, but I think by this time they were pushing a lot quicker to get to the fort. I should mention too, I did remember reading it on July 8th, the day before the battle, that some of the Indians did come to Braddock to asked for a conference. I don't know if they actually talked to Braddock personally, but they talked to two of his aides. Washington was one of them. The idea was they were asking for him to halt his advance, giving the time for the French to evacuate and abandon the fort, which is what they were considering doing because Braddock had a superior force. They didn't think they would necessarily be able to repulse him. But they were wrong. Things changed. But Braddock refused to meet with them and continued on with his advance. All right, I believe we are crossing the river up here soon. Yeah, here's the bridge. So roughly where they would have crossed, maybe. It's hard to tell exactly. But this is the first crossing of the Monongahela. Which you can't really see probably below. And then we're going to turn right up here, I believe. And they had to cross this river again. And it was just after they crossed it for the second time that they encountered some of the French and Indian forces. Yeah, I don't know how much you can see out there to the right, but there's a ton of railroad and industry buildings. So up here soon is where they crossed for the second time. I'll try and get a view up here somewhere maybe. If I can find a place to pull off, we'll see. There's a 7-Eleven up here. I should just pull in right here. Should be able to get a view. Alright, so this is Route 837 right here. And we're going to get a look over this fence here. And roughly out there, you can see some of the railroad bridges out there. This is where they crossed the second time over the Monongahela. I don't know if you can really see the river up there. But you can see a couple bridges up there. But this is where they crossed for the second time. But at this point, it's kind of getting difficult to get some views. We're getting awfully close to Pittsburgh. But we can't cross the Monongahela here. We have to drive up, take a detour, cross it somewhere else. It's getting busy. Yeah, that pull off was right by the marathon station here, the 7-Eleven, if you're curious as to where I was, if you're familiar with the area. But like I said, we can't cross here. There's no highway crossing here. We have to drive up further to what's called Rankin Bridge. I believe that's what it's called. And then from there, we'll drive into the town of Braddock itself, where the Battle of Monongahela took place. Yeah, but it's starting to feel a lot more developed. And we still are roughly paralleling the route they took. We're just still on the other side of the river from where they are. Or where they were, I guess you could say. Another red light. Alright, we are finally making our second crossing of the Monongahela River. The Rankin Bridge. And just across the river there is the town of Braddock. That is where the Battle of Monongahela took place. Where Braddock's army was defeated. But we're gonna make our way to, there's a spot I want to make my way to here. There's like a museum here. It's closed, but that's where I'm gonna end this video. Take this exit here. Alright, we are in the town of Braddock now. Looking for 6th Street. Because anywhere in this area is where the battle took place. We're in the battle zone. Just gotta find 6th Street. Hopefully. Oh, let's just say this is also called Braddock Avenue in the town of Braddock. Lots of things named after him in this area. Let's see, what street is this? 4th Street. Got 5th Street, so the next one should be 6th Street. If the town of Braddock has their streets numbered correctly. Oh, red light. Alright, so we made it. Up there's the History Center for Braddock's defeat battlefield. And this is 6th Street. So here, roughly in all this area, and the surrounding areas where the battle took place. Our journey's end. So exactly what happened at the Battle of Monongahela, you're going to find out in another video. Obviously Braddock and the British lost, but in another video I'll go over the details of exactly what happened. But not here. Kind of a noisy spot. We'll find a quieter spot to do that sometime this week baby. But anyway, that's it for this journey. We've made it to Braddock. Braddock's defeat. So I will be filming that video on the Battle of Monongahela soon, maybe during this trip. For now, we're also going to we're heading to Pittsburgh, to Fort Duquesne. At least we're going to try to. I'm not a big fan of cities, but we're going to make it to Point State Park. Try to film Fort Duquesne. But thanks for coming along on this adventure. This was a long day filming all this, but it's worth it in the end. Alright, thanks for coming along. I'll see you on the next one.